Hey everybody, it's John Brown and Ian Brown. Say hi, Ian.
Hey!
Alright, and we're checking out Marvel Heroes 2016. It is a free-to-play game on Steam where you get to play as different superheroes in kind of a Diablo-like game. So what do you think of the game so far, buddy?
I love the game. It's a fast-paced combat game. There's a whole bunch of different characters you can try, and it's just a really fun combat game.
Yeah, so there's more than 50 heroes. You can choose any of them kind of to start with and level up to level 10. At that point, you're going to want to pick you get to pick one character that you can level up past level 10, and then you can unlock other characters either by purchasing them or with in-game stuff. And I'm not sure how difficult it is to pick up in-game characters. We haven't really got to that point yet where we've tried to do that if you don't want to spend money. But you can definitely get started and play for free. So what do you think? Do the characters play pretty differently?
Some of the characters have moves that are pretty similar, but some of the characters do play pretty differently.
Yeah, so there's definitely guys with different abilities, range and melee and stuff. So after we finish this guy, we'll show off the power tree. And another thing about each character, so yeah, we'll go ahead and pick up these items and then we'll show you this real quick. So there is an inventory and there's going to be a lot of loot. This is a Diablo-like game where you're going to get a ton of loot and there is limited inventory space. You do have a little bit of space to storage back at the main base, and I think you can upgrade that probably with money or whatever. But and then there's also the power screen. So each character here has basically 3 trees. So like a lot of these style of games, you can level up each of them separately, based on how you want to do it. As you level up, you get points and go down each tree. It's not very complex, but you definitely, have some different options, and you can make characters play differently. So some characters you can focus on melee or range, or, kind of do a mix of all 3. So, and I think the characters that play a little bit similar probably will play differently too, depending on how you level them up. I personally don't necessarily feel like the controls are super responsive, and it is kind of a, the combat isn't necessarily as refined or interesting as like Diablo or something like that. I mean, it is very kind of basic, but yeah, you do get some cool abilities, and people do seem to be pretty different. And again, it is a free-to-play game. I mean, the graphics obviously aren't like super cutting edge, but I don't think they're bad. I mean, there's cutscenes in that. They're kind of cartoon style. But again, being a free-to-play game, it's pretty neat. One thing that I do like, you just saw there, I went into the menus. You can swap back and forth between controller play or keyboard play. Instantly, you don't need to change settings. You can use a keyboard and mouse for like the menu settings and play the game with the controller, however you want. So that is a nice bonus that a lot of games don't really have. But yeah, you seem to be doing alright with the controls. I mean, we don't have a ton of abilities unlocked for this character yet, but basically if you're playing on a controller, there's the buttons, and you can make more functions by holding down a trigger to basically shift and get more abilities. Alright, so if you're looking for, kind of light, simple combat and just being able to level up and stuff, you can definitely do that. There are sections that are kind of public sections. You can play with other characters, and then, story missions as well. So here we've kind of got a boss battle with the Green Goblin. So what do you think your favorite character is so far?
Well, I kind of like Taskmaster and Captain America.
Okay.
Because Taskmaster can go somewhat long, somewhat short. And Captain America, he's one of my favorite Marvel characters. And he's just, I love his shield throw and stuff.
Yeah, so you can, so you can definitely do that where like the abilities you really like, you can level up more, you can focus on one skill tree and be particularly good at one thing that, and each character does have, well, they're not a super complex level of upgrading. Each character definitely does have choices, and you can kind of focus on playing it the way you want to play it, and leveling up the skills that you want to level up. And like I said, there's kind of main missions that you can do. You can go back to the hub, and I think we're going to head back to the Avengers Tower here, and we'll run into a bunch of other players. and you can buy items and whatnot. One thing I personally don't like is there is a ton, it seems like, different vendors that use different currencies, and a bit of like an MMO or free-to-play game like you would expect, where there's just like a lot of different things that do different stuff. You got to figure out what currencies are worthwhile and which vendors to go to, as opposed to just having, and here you see an example of kind of the cartoon cutscenes that, have alright voice acting, and I think it's an alright look. I mean, it doesn't look amazing, but it does look like a comic book, which, makes sense. So, I don't know, do you have any other thoughts right now for playing it?
The stages, they have some fun stuff about them. There's some mini boss fights along most of the stages, and that's kind of fun. These are tougher than like those Hydra goons. So like
like any game of this style, you're going to run into a bunch of mobs that are pretty easy to take out, and there are a lot of just like villains just popping in, and like you said, you have kind of like a mini boss fight and a few big ones. So I mean, it's definitely fast-paced, action-packed, and whatnot. So overall, I'd say this is a game you can play for free. If you want to unlock a bunch of characters and level them up quickly and get cool stuff, you can invest money if you choose to, but it doesn't seem like you have to with the business model, especially if you just want to stick with one character for a while. And pretty simple combat, but fast-paced and enjoyable. And obviously, a bunch of other people playing it if you potentially want to team up with some people. And overall, as far as a free-to-play game goes, not too bad. I personally would probably prefer playing something like Path of Exile or something for a little bit deeper complexity. But if you really like the Marvel setting and you're really looking for just something fun and light to play that's free, then overall this doesn't seem like too bad of a choice. Another thing I do like is you can go back and replay sections, so we see like the prologue and then different chapters of the story, and then there's like hubs that you can go to, and all this stuff will unlock. You can go back basically to whatever section you want. So just to give an example, here is a little bit of gameplay with Daredevil. Now this is just a level 1 character, so as you get more characters unlocked, you will have the abilities down at the bottom of the screen. You'll be able to fill them in with more options. So, right. I mean, any character you're going to start with just a couple basic abilities, usually a movement ability and 2 attacks. And like I said, as you level up, you can make those attacks more powerful and get new attacks, so that eventually you have a bunch of options for abilities to use. And again, you can play with a keyboard or with a mouse and just set them all to whatever. It seems like you can rebind everything, and so one thing I will give it, even if it doesn't look amazing or have the most responsive controls, the ability to be able to switch from keyboard to mouse right away, and the ability to customize and all that is pretty nice in a free-to-play game, seeing as many $60 games don't have that level of customizability. There's something like that. Alright, so some final thoughts here on Marvel Heroes 2016. This is a problem. There's just so many items you get and you don't have the room to store it. And you're gonna get a lot of items for your hero, items for other heroes. Then you have to go back and store them if you want to get those heroes, or just sell them or whatever. So the inventory management is pretty annoying. As far as the business model goes, if we go to the store here, we can check out. You can get heroes. So we see these cost 900 of the premium currency. So if we want to add currency, we can get 1,000 of it for $10. So, basically, if you want to spend $10, you can get a character, and then you have a little bit left for some other stuff. But just to give you an idea, like if you just want to straight up buy another hero, that's how you do it. If there is a way to get heroes in-game, if they're rare drops or something like that, I'm not quite sure. I've tried to find it, but because this game has been in development for so long, I've been finding some contradictory information and not sure what is up to date. But there you go. Final thoughts on the game. The whole items with all the different vendors and stuff like that. It's a little bit confusing. The item management is kind of annoying. The business model, seeing as you can play a hero for free through the entire game, and if you want to spend basically $10 and get a hero and a few other things, overall I don't think it's too terrible. So you just have to decide for yourself if you enjoy the combat enough and you think it's fun, because it is a free game. So while it's not one that I personally am probably going to play a whole bunch more of, it's one that I could see people enjoying, and I don't think the business model is too bad. You definitely have a lot of heroes to select from. So there's my thoughts on Marvel Heroes 2016. You can check it out for free on Steam right now if you choose. Alright, thanks a lot for watching. We'll talk to you guys again soon.